Hello, good evening and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're here for our Sunday evening league, the Formula X, round 9 at the Green Hell. This is going to be absolutely mental. It's going to make my eyes bleed, I tell you. I won't be able to keep up with any of this. At 8 o'clock we're going to have a small tribute for Mr. Murray Walker, so be prepared for that. Keep your eyes open, and I'll read you the bump leading into this championship. What is the VRC Formula X Championship? The VRC Formula X Championship is inspired by the question, what if Formula 1 went in the direction of the Red Bull X 2014 standards? The championship will have a familiar feel to it, with famous names from Formula 1 being represented by 2 drivers, as well as the opportunity for team principals to be involved in deciding whether to spend tokens on car development throughout the season. The season will be 10 weeks long, and races will be 150 miles at famous circuits in the game. So that's that. Sorry, I was just about to read the next bit, but it was nothing to do with that. So I'll get you to the championship tables. Oh, I've got a message. Hang on. Is that anything? Oh, it's Aya Graham. Aya Graham says, good luck. It's going to be a mental one. It is. It certainly is. So let me tell you the tables so far in the championship and any token spendings that happened last round. Let me find the FX season info. So here we go. The championship tables. Before drop scores, we will do total points. We'll do the drop scores on the last round. Wow, the chat's gone live already. Flashman saying evening all. Endurance Nuts saying evening all. Bruno Musk. Cthulhu saying yee. And Cthulhu also good luck for Mercedes. And Endurance Nut says Toto approves. Right then, the championship so far is Aya Graham leading on 176 points, with Matt Psycho in second, also on 176 points. Third, Stevie Styler on 126 points, with Jam in fourth on 102 points. Fifth is Intulu on 89 points, with Shadow Rider in sixth on 88 points. Katula in 7th on 75 points, with Skyjacker in 8th on 74 points. Noxie is in 9th on 71 points, with Alexis Maximus in 10th on 62 points. Kale is 11th on 54 points, with Jim in 12th on 36 points. Daz is 13th on 35 points, with Racer Brown, the stand-in, our very own Hulkenberg, should I say, is on 26 points, with Dutch on 11 points. Geordie, these are the Red Bull guys down at the back here, taking it turns. Dutch on 11 points in 15th. Geordie in 16th on 4 points. Jokus in... That's really weird, because he's put 16th and it jumps up to 18th, but Jokus in 17th on 4 points, and the Mika Wibri in 18th on 1 point. So that's your table. Let's have a look at the manufacturer's table. That's the one that's more important, as this is a team-based championship. And let's have a look at those, the team points. As is follows: Aston Martin are leading the way on 278 points. Alpine in second on 248 points. Ferrari third on 215 points, with Mercedes fourth on 136 points. McLaren fifth on 128 points, with Williams in sixth on 124 points, and Red Bull in seventh on 81 points. And there's 2 rounds to go, so there's everything to play for in the championship. I believe that's Psycho at Pace in the chat saying I should come do this. And he also says, oh, genitals, Psycho here. There you go. I got it right. I didn't even read that second one. Psycho Sheep / Psycho Pace. I didn't need to read it. I know who you are now. I know your name. Right then, what else do I need to tell you? Oh yes, the token spending. After the final round of token spending, the following changes have happened. Aston Martin have gone up 1% of power. Alpine also 1% power. Ferrari have jumped 2% power up. Mercedes have gone up 1% power. McLaren for no change, Williams no change, and Red Bull 1% power. But they're keeping their cars close to their chests, so we don't actually know what power those cars are running at the moment. I suppose the team principals have kept track of whose powers and weights have changed throughout the season. Why is this jumping all over the place? Is that my handset again? I've got a dodgy joystick, I'm afraid, guys, so hopefully it won't jump around too much. The randomator has picked the tyres for this weekend, and they are going to be mediums and hards. So when they need the grip the most, they're not going to get it. They've got to deal with mediums and hards. The track is Nürburgring Nordschleife, which is going to be an absolute mental one here. It's 12 laps, the track length is 12.94 miles, and it has 154 turns. So, I'm telling you now, I don't know a single corner. I think I know the carousel, and that's about it. So you won't be hearing me calling names out, it'll be lefts and rights. So here we go. Hello and welcome. This evening we have the 9th round of Formula X at the legendary Nürburgring Nordschleife. Please take extra care because the track is narrow and challenging, and these cars are wide. McLaren team principal VRC Talleyrand will be standing in for VRC Skyjacker this evening. Ooh, look, they're all in the pits. Let's find someone who's out there. Oh, Racer Brown standing in for Cthulhu, I imagine. Jokers is in the chat saying a good evening. Team principal of Red Bull joining us. Endurance Nut, team principal of Mercedes, and I believe Flashman's joining in. He's taking over Shadow Rider's spot for Williams. So the team principal, a couple of team principals standing in this evening. Oh, what else is there? So the grid will be, it's average points after drop scores, I believe. And it's going to be a rolling start today, not a standing start because of the nature of the track. So we should see them line up. Geordie on the front in the Red Bull, with Daz second in the Mercedes, Jim third in the Williams, Kale fourth in the McLaren, Alexis Maximus fifth in the Red Bull, Noxie sixth for Alpine, Racer Brown seventh standing in for Mercedes, 8th in Toulouse in the Ferrari, 9th will be Jam in the Aston Martin, 10th will be Stevie Styler in the Ferrari, Matt Psycho will be 11th in the Aston Martin, I.R. Graham 12th in the Alpine, Talleyrand in the 13th for the McLaren, and then Flashman in the Williams sitting in 14th. What have we got? We've got about 6 minutes to go. And I will try and read. I'm going to try and get this right. I don't want to get it messed up. At 8 p.m, there will be a tribute lap for Murray Walker, who sadly passed away yesterday. Jam will go out in a rather special car that he hopes you will all enjoy. There will be a minute's silence and an opportunity for everyone to pay tribute to Murray in this stream, they say. So, hey. Now, I don't know. I think the minute silence is at the beginning. I don't know if we're just going to sit there with an empty track for a minute and I'll have to shut up, which I'm not used to. And then Jam, or Jam Shunt as he is now called, will go out in a special car. And we'll see what we can do. In the chat we've got Pat saying hello, good luck to everyone. I think some good luck might be needed here, definitely. And Diogo Daniel Rodriguez saying good luck, guys. So here we go then. This is going to be mental. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this. Good luck, good night, force in Toulouse, says Luis Silva. So let's pick a car to jump on board with. This one will do, won't it, that we're in, just to see how manic and how fast this track really is. We've got 4 minutes until that tribute, so I'll try and talk as much as I can up until that point and see how we get on. I'm just going to turn the mic off. I will be quiet. I promise. So here we see Racer Brown in the Merc on his racing mediums. Wow, a 5:35 around here in these cars. That is some crazy times. That is some crazy speed. Look at it. Absolutely scary. Whoa. Great grip though, but these cars do lose a lot of grip when they're following each other. Mika Wibri in the chat saying hello there. I think this is heading up to the carousel now, isn't it? Oh yeah, let's do it. Oh nice, go on Racer Brown, sweet stuff. Cham Shunt saying there's 5 minutes to go roughly. I have got my energy drinks that I shall not name until they give me money in front of me, spilling it on my keyboard. It's not good. And I have got a warm beverage. But I have to wait until it's cooled down a bit. Oh, I can just sip on that froth at the top. Frothy bevy. I think the room is not 1000%. I don't know what Intulu is saying. We'll see. Look at this. This is some crazy. Oh, how are they going to keep these cars on that track? You've got to go slow and low, ain't you, today? It's going to be the old fable of the turtle and the hare, I think. I think those guys that take it slow and steady might find themselves in a better position come the end of the race. Look at the movement in that suspension as he's going over the bumps. You can see the car just up and down. My word, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to drive this. Is that the mini carousel? Ugh, little carousel. It would make my eyes definitely bleed. I love the wing mirrors, see through the car. It's great, that. But hey, what the hell. Noxie in the chat saying, evening everyone. And we're fast approaching 8 o'clock. I'm not sure what's going to go. I'm just going to shut up when... Oh, Matt Psycho has left the room. That's a worry. He's in the championship hunt. Oh, and he's back in again. Hello, says Matt Psycho. Still on board. Look at what speeds we get. We're getting nearly 200 miles an hour down that straight. That's unbelievable. This is scary coming up here as we come to the final part of the race track. Oh, I do like this track. I can't drive it, but I do like it. And there is the start straight. I don't even know where the pit entrance is. There's the pit exit. Oh, just asked a little bit too much for that first corner from Racer Brown. He's gone back into the pits. There's Talleyrand, his first taste of Formula X. I believe he's been sat on the sidelines as team principal, just salivating over having a go. And what a track to decide to have a go at. My word. But I think he is one of the few that like the green hell. So he's trying out the hard tyres at the moment. A 5:39.8 from him so far. Let's have a run down and see who's about then. There's Intulu in the Ferrari. What is it? We're doing the 1 minute silent now. Okay, sorry.
Formula One, and it usually does. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, let's go! And Lacey is the man who is closest to the man in front of him at the present moment.
And look now, at the end of the 5th lap, and we're on lap 6 now. That's the Williams. And Harris goes straight past the Williams of Tyrrell Frentzen.
A blow to the head with a helmet on doesn't hurt nearly as much as a blow to the head without one. So, Button is now up into 7th position. I just happen to have my magic chart with me. It's a sort of shorthand thing of everything I need to know.
And how often do you actually look down at that?
Never. It's
I was going to say, yeah.
Turns into the chicane. Right, left, right. Now look at the conflagration at the back, which is about to happen. You can't see it. Both the Ferraris are in the top 6 at the present moment. And that is the only constructor that is. As they exit turn 5 of this 13-turn corner, David pulls across in front of Coulthard. All I can tell you at the moment is that David Coulthard, it keeps on accelerating and closing up to David Coulthard. And Damon Hill wins in Belgium. Fantastic! And then Yervine moving up from 10th maybe to 9th. I don't think he'll do better than that. Over the line and remains in 7th position. Never ever give Michael Schumacher half a chance. He'll be like a very number drain plug. And it is now 29 minutes past the hour. 29 minutes past 2 in Monaco. 29 minutes past 1 in Great Britain. 29 minutes past something else in the many other parts of the world. India, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada that are listening to us at the present moment. Not to mention Malaysia. Yeah, another terrific race by Jenson Button. And again, he is at the Hungaro ring for the first time. Meantime, Fisichella has moved up into 5th position, and I predict he's going to pull away from the Williams. While you were away, Giancarlo Fisichella got it all wrong and lost 2 places. The 4 cars in the lead are both on a 2-stop strategy. Frentzen is in 4th position now. Michael Schumacher moves up into 4th place. Frentzen attack! That's Coulthard's McLaren in front of him. 2 World Championship leaders on the front row. There he is, Mika Häkkinen alongside him. Michael Schumacher. Mika Häkkinen is on the 2nd row of the grid. David Coulthard up there with Michael Schumacher. And you can see by the body language of the Benetton mechanics that they are absolutely furious. And I can remember no Grand Prix driver who's made a greater impression on me in his first season of Grand Prix racing than Jenson Button. Next year he goes to Benetton, a young man with a great Grand Prix future in front of him. And there's a man with a great Grand Prix future behind him, Michael Schumacher. And that's Genet, that's Marc Genet. He's done it again. This is his first time at Monaco, and he's done it in at the swimming pool.
They'll have to red flag that.
Mika Häkkinen is in provisional pole position at roughly half distance in terms of time. Lap 28 out of 56, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, is half the distance. And yes, I am very much mistaken. Twice 26 is not 58. We are not quite at the halfway point of the race. Well, we are now, actually. Schumacher is continuing to harry, push. Just look at the gap before Heinz Frentzen comes through in 4th position. Fisichella is 8th. Mika Salo, an excellent 9th for Sauber. Jenson Button in the top 10 is in 11th position. Both the McLaren drivers are faster than their equivalents in the McLaren team at the moment. Mika Häkkinen comes through to win in Spain and pulls... Hello? What's going on? Off goes Mika Häkkinen! Off goes Mika Häkkinen out of the race! Mika Häkkinen, the race leader, loses the McLaren and slam bang into the wall. And the fin is out. No points at Imola. No points for his McLaren. Loses traction into the wall, out of the race. Wow! There are some small runoff areas here, but you've got to be millimetrically perfect in your positioning of the car. Move over, there is a driver behind you who is going faster and has the right to pass. Michael Schumacher, as I expected, is extending his lead over Michael Schumacher. This race is going to be a commentator's nightmare.
These gravel tracks don't seem to be stopping anybody at all here.
There isn't one there, Murray.
Just cost a few pence.
Look, we've got a strange guy walking down the side of the racetrack in a raincoat on the grass, and what on earth is he doing? Crossing the racetrack during the Grand Prix, and clearly either a bit too much beer there, or he's hit his head on something, because he's not being sensible at all. Safety car, so this will close the pack. James.
Yeah, safety car, and everybody's reacting quickly. We're going to have everybody making their pit stops. We're expecting who's going to come first for McLaren. This could be very painful for whichever is the second. Amazing turnaround.
Fantastic development this is. That lunatic, whoever he is changing the complexion of the race. There he is.
Hopefully we'll never see that again. Man on track.
But ding dong, are we going to see a race now? And just look at the way Schumacher is pushing the car. You can see he's right on the ragged edge between flying off the circuit and staying off it. Keep this order in your mind. Schumacher leading, Häkkinen second, Coulthard third, Rubens Barrichello right behind him. Fisichella is fifth, Herbert is seventh, and they're virtually together on the track itself. The best that Mika Häkkinen can do, I think, is to take third position. No, my goodness, he takes pole position. Incredible. 17.529. Now listen to this. Barrichello started it, then Butt took over, then Schumacher, Ralph, then Häkkinen, then Coulthard, then Michael Schumacher, then Häkkinen, David Coulthard again, and is Michael Schumacher going to do it yet again? No, Nick Heidfeld, thankfully driving his last race for Prost. He's had a dreadful season. Barrichello leads Häkkinen, Coulthard is third, Sarlo in the Sauber is fourth, Jenson Button is in fifth position, and Pedro de la Rosa in the Arrows is eighth.
Ralph Schumacher doesn't really look to me as though he run out of gas. What do you think now?
I think that's Michael, actually.
Barrichello is driving, or about to drive, in his fourth race for Ferrari. He's following the great Ayrton Senna, who never drove for Ferrari, and Rubens Barrichello is mighty proud of it. So for the second time in the very recent future, Mika Häkkinen has got the depressing sight of a red Ferrari in front of him and holding him up. And the gap has increased now. Schumacher is 10 seconds ahead of Michael Schumacher.
They've both gone through their sectors, fastest of all.
This is Ayrton Senna in reverse. And that's the battle with Frentzen fifth, Wood sixth, Fisichella sixth. You can expect a stop of round about 8 seconds. When I say stop, I mean with the car stationary. Michael Schumacher alongside the Finn in the front row. They're both super starters, but Mika Häkkinen, I think, is a superer, if there is such a word, starter than Michael Schumacher. It looks like yet another bit of brilliant tactical thinking by Ross Brawn on the circuit, and Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher at the wheel.
The temperature here in the commentary box is just as tense as it is all the way around the circuit.
Frentzen, Fisichella, Verstappen and Takagi are 10th. Excellent for Tora Takagi. 60-minute session, and we're into the 56th minute now, nearly 4 minutes gone. What's the strategy going to be? Well, the general feeling is that most of them will be doing 2 laps.
Well, the computer hasn't sorted itself out yet from those pit stops.
No, so I'm just going to wait until it does so. So easy to get it wrong.
And McLaren are fighting back from a very, very tough 1994, 1995, 1968, and better, 1967 and a bitter 1968. And there are a lot of people who are saying that the yellow, intimidating colour of that Ferrari attracts people's attention when they see it coming up in that red Ferrari. Now, Mike, this is going to be an absolutely barnstorming finish. What a boring sport Formula One is.
And now I'm going to have to stop because I've got a lump in my throat. Thank you, Murray. You're going to be our pole sitter forever. Right, let's all dry our eyes. We've still got a race to do tonight. And it's going to be starting any minute now. We're just waiting for Jam to get the grid sorted out. And then it will be race on. A lot of tributes for Murray in the chat. Thank you, Murray. Lots of thank you Murrays. Hashtag thank you Murray. That's all you can say, isn't it? At this point. What a loss. Murray Walker, OBE, 97 years old. What a life. Matt Psycho out on the track now. Getting some last minute practice in. Another one that likes Nürburgring. So could be tipping him for some good stuff today. And Jam Huntington in the chat saying thank you, Murray. It's fantastic stuff. Now I'm going to try and shake all this off now. Shake it out. We've got a race to do. Round 9, only 2 more rounds of the Formula X left. I am actually quite choked up, I must say. Jam asking if everyone's ready. Let me get into that situation. And just give it a small Y, my usual. There you go. I hope that came across okay on the YouTube. Something Jam put together. Oh, my controller is driving me up the wall. I'll not touch it for the rest of the race. Let's give you some of these. Whoosh in Tulu in the Ferrari. What's his chances? Another one, I believe. Quite liked the Nürburgring when we held the green hell in the Focusers. That was in Tulu's first race with us. And he did okay. He was doing okay. So there's a couple out there. There's a couple that have said how much they despair of this track. I believe Matt Psycho's actually driven it in real life. So that is one lucky little boy, isn't it? We've got so much chats. Endurance not saying thanks, Jam, for arranging this. Joker's saying RIP, Mr. Murray. Halloran saying I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm on the edge. I'm really am. He was a big part to my life. He was the voice of racing for me. Touring cars, rallycross, Formula 1. That's all I ever knew growing up. Well, Alan Sykes saying internet trouble. Yeah, that's what it is. It's internet trouble. The shakiness in my voice, that's just a weird internet connection. So here we go. Let's get on with the race, shall we? That's the best way to pay tribute to the man, I believe. It's going to be a rolling start, remember. And who is going to come out on top of this race? I have no idea about strategies or anything. I just know they've got to use mediums and hard tyres during this event. It's 12 laps of the Nordschleife. Oh no, there's a glitch. I think we're going to have to reset. Glitch. Everyone's got to get out. Hey! And here we see they're all just disappearing now as there's a glitch. I wonder who was glitching. Oh, look at them all glitching away. Oh, come on. So restart on the go. Oh my God, can you believe it? So the race has been cancelled. Well, Jam Shunt, that's a tricky name for a commentator, Jam Shunt. It rhymes a lot with Hunt. Let's hope I don't slip up anywhere along the line. Get the video banned. Oh, it's really bugging out, it seems. Even in the pits, people are glitching. And there you go. The host has ended the room. So, like I said, my memories of Mr. Walker I think I started watching Formula 1. I mean, I watched it in '92 because of my dad being a big Formula 1 fan and getting me into it. So I remember the funny moments, like Nigel Mansell banging his head. He had a big lump on his head, and while Murray Walker was interviewing him, he gave the bump a real poke. You could see the pain in Mansell's face. There's I saw a funny clip on YouTube today that he was trying to do a beginning bit, sat in a Williams, and he had Piquet and Mansell sat next to him, and they just kept messing around with him, like polishing his head and poking things in his ears and just doing anything they could to distract him. So there's so many moments. But for me, the biggest one, I think, I started watching regularly in 1995, Formula 1. That's when I became a hardcore F1 fan. And yes, the 96 season when Damon Hill crossed the line to take the championship. And you could just tell Murray Walker really did have a lump in his throat. He had to stop. He couldn't speak. And then he interviewed Damon afterwards, and he just couldn't get the words out. He just hugged the man and just kept congratulating him, and you could just tell he was really chuffed. He really supported the British drivers out there. It was lovely to see. Such a passion for the race, for racing in general. It was beautiful. It really was. Let's hope this is okay. The internet's got full beans there. So, oh, look at that car. That looks nice, doesn't it? Eh? I raced that the other night. I got a podium in that bad boy. Yeah. Me, commentator, on the podium, spraying champagne all over the place. I was bukkake-ing everyone. Whee! So, as we all get in and line ourselves up, Flashman saying, how am I supposed to drive after that? I know. Dry your eyes, mate. I can't. I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. I'm trying to keep it together here for everyone. Being strong for the kids. So, hopefully, no bugs this time. Fingers crossed. That we can just crack on. There's Noxie. Ooh, that was an interesting one, wasn't it? The guys are all filtering back in. It looks like Noxie's going to start on the hard tyres, as is Talleyrand, Kale, Intulu, Jim. Kale, yeah, I said Kale, didn't I? Excuse me. Little burpee pops. Oh, let me get rid of those big numbers. They're obscene and they don't look realistic. I'll try and make it look as realistic as possible. So at the moment, Jam, he'll be scurrying around in the background trying to set up the grids, ready to go again. As we look through the contenders in this, there's Flashman sitting in for Shadow Rider, Stevie Styler, Racer Brown sitting in for Fernando. It was great to see F1 back again, practicing this last week. We're not far away from the first race. He's asking everyone, Jam's asking everyone to enter. Graham says, yeah, he's jumping the gun. He's ready. He wants to get going. He's got a championship to win. It's Alexis Maximus. And Tulu. Everyone's saying Wise. And Talleyrand. In his McLaren. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of Ys out there. Do I have to do another Y? I'll do another Y. Why not? Why not? And give it some of this, and give it some of that, and a bit of that. Lovely stuff. So in the chat, Pat says, I've been watching a few of Murray Walker's compilations. The one on the Formula 1 YouTube almost got me this morning. Pat also saying, a year ago today would have been Formula 1 qualifying in Melbourne. Oh, really? There you go. The final's just about to start in a few seconds. And we can get this race underway, hopefully, glitch-free. They do call it the green hell, so that is probably why. There they all lined up, ready to go. Daz on pole. We're missing one person, I don't know, is it Geordie? Looks like Geordie hasn't managed to make it, unfortunately. And poor Red Bull, they need the points, they really do. I can't see Geordie anywhere down the list. But then don't forget, it might be that he's out there and I just can't see him. Sometimes these things happen. But we do look short one. Luis Silva, these cars on this track, it's going to be beautiful. Here we go, the countdown's happening. Daz leading them away. I can't see anyone saying glitch, so it looks good. And there they go, Daz into the first part. Always a little Jim with Kale and Alexis and Maximus in the Red Bull. Noxie there in the Alpine in fifth, getting round the inside, up the inside of Alexis and Maximus there. Wow, it's crazy stuff already. And Noxie lifted, I think, to give him the place back. Oh, we've got Jim, was it, on the curbs, going quite slow. Daz pulling away quite nicely, 2.1 seconds. Come on, Daz, you can do this on those medium tyres. Don't push too hard, just keep it in your realm. Oh, and he's off already. Here comes Kale. Kale's just about keeping it on the track. There's Lexus Maximus in the Red Bull, very close behind. It's very, very difficult for these guys to race each other and keep it on the track. Intula up into fifth, IR Graham in a sixth, Matt Psycho in seventh. Them two always seem to find each other on track. There is Talleyrand in eighth with Jam in ninth. Stevie Styler in the Ferrari in 10th place. It's going to be fantastic. There is 11th Noxie, Flashman for 12th, and Jim in the other Williams in 13th position. So Daz still leading the way, 1.8 seconds ahead of the rest of the gang. There's Kale. There's a battle behind though with Alexis Maximus, Racer Brown and Intulu. Let's get on board with Intulu to see some of this action. My word, this is crazy stuff. Just behind us we've got IR Graham a little bit further back. He's got 1.3 seconds. Has Intulu got on IR Graham? Oh my word, how can they do this? This is crazy stuff. Let's count down the laps as they go by. We saw they were doing like, what, 5.5 minutes, nearly 6-minute laps. This should be quite a short race then, with the speed they're carrying here at the Green Hell. And so far Daz still leading from Kale with Alexis and Maximus in third. Intula, he just wants to get past that Merc in front of him. IR Graham now got it down to 9/10. We should be able to start seeing him. He's pulling away from Matt Psycho. Behind Matt Psycho is Talleyrand. Holy moly, I can't believe how fast these cars look around here. Oh, Intulu's gone out wide and he's given Racer Brown a little knock, and that's given IR Graham the opportunity to get up right behind the Ferrari. So IR Graham is 7/10 ahead of Matt Psycho in the Alpine. Matt Psycho being in the Aston Martin. Talleyrand there in the McLaren. He's only 9/10 behind those guys, with a Jam there in 9th place. Stevie Styler in 10th in the Ferrari. They pulled a little bit away from Noxie, who's 7 seconds adrift, but he's ahead of Jim by 1.5 seconds. And Flashman, oh, Flashman having a struggle there in the Williams. He's jumped in cold into this championship, so, and what a championship to jump into. What a race to jump into. There is Daz then, 3.4 seconds. Come on, Daz, you can do this, my friend. Kale there in second spot with Alexis Maximus in third. Intulu there, fourth. IR Graham's, we've lost someone. Who did we lose? Racer Brown down into ninth. I don't know if the replays will work, if this is having so many problems. He's already down, so we already missed it, I'm afraid. Let's get out of that. He's in ninth behind Jam. So the order so far, there is Daz in the carousel, leading the way in first place by nearly 4 seconds from Kale. Kale there, the South African, in second spot, doing an absolutely stunning job for McLaren right now, and they do need the points, so this is going to be fantastic for their championship. Intula for Ferrari on the podium so far. Can he maintain that with IR Graham only half a second behind him? Superb stuff there with the Zingray helmet design, but Matt Psycho getting ever closer. This is going to be a battle between these two mites, and oh my god, Ian Graham's dropped it. He's dropped it, my lord. Matt Psycho moving up into 4th, Talleyrand in 5th, 6th for Alexis and Maximus. Racer Brown moving up into 7th, Jam is in 8th. Ian Graham, he's still not going yet. There he goes, he's got back on the track, and he's just ahead of his brother Stevie Styler. Fantastic racing there from these guys, and Ian Graham's going out wide again. He's shaken. He's on those hard. Oh no, sorry, Ian Graham. He's in 9th. He's on the hard tyres. He's carrying a little bit of damage. Got no downforce at the back, and he can't keep the end of that car down. Also, Racer Brown going very slow. So it looks like Racer Brown having issues as well. He's damaged the front of his car. My lord, it's going to be a race of attrition. So far, Daz 10 seconds leading. My gosh, he's been sandbagging a lot in the chat, saying how he's not going to do very well. And look at him, 10 seconds on in Toulouse so far. And Matt Psycho up into 3rd spot. Talleyrand in 4th place, his debut for Formula X. And what a debut so far. Kale down into 5th, behind his teammate Alexis Maximus in 6th, with Jam hot on the heels of the Red Bull. Alexis Maximus just kicking up a little bit of the dirt there. Scary stuff in these cars. We haven't even completed the first lap yet. And Jam there giving Alexis a little bump draft, it seems. He wants the car to stay in front of him so he can get up to 201 miles an hour down this straight. In the chat then, what have I missed? Cars, I can hardly keep up with it all. Lewis Silver, these cars on this track is going to be beautiful. Mick Wibbery saying lobby showing 14 and 15, so I think you are missing one. Yes, I think we can't see Geordie for some reason, so I don't know where he'll be. We'll be over an hour for the race. 5:20ish each lap is what Pat is saying. So Jam, we've lost Alexis Maximus, sorry, while I was reading the comments. There we go, Alexis Maximus now behind Jam. You guys would have seen the overtake. I did not, sorry. So Daz still leading by, well, we think Daz is leading. Could be Geordie, we're not sure. I think Geordie could be out there, because it seems that the room is full of people. And Geordie would have been on the front row. So it's a shame. It happens sometimes. It's happened before, where we can't see guys going around. There, 3rd. We'll go with what we can see, and any amendments I will tell you next week at the next round. So Matt Psycho 3rd, Talleyrand in 4th, Kale is in 5th, Jam 6th, with Alexis Maximus all over the back of him. Wow, what a battle between the Red Bull and the Aston Martin drivers. Absolutely, Alexis Maximus hounding the back end of Jam Shunt as they make their way around. This helps Stevie Styler. He's catching up with Racer Brown down in 9th, IR Graham in 10th, 11th for Jimbo, Noxie in 12th, and Flashman there 13th. But like I said, I think there is another driver out there that we cannot see, but I'm not sure whereabouts on the track he probably is. He's probably in front for all we know, but as we see it, Daz for now is at the front, and that's how we will view it. Mika Wivry says she assumes. Well, yes, if it says there's 15 guys in here. So yes, there is probably 14 drivers, and me. We can't see Geordie, but I've not seen Geordie through any of the practice or anything like that. And he's closed the room down once and opened it again. So look at, Daz, he was 10 seconds lead, but now it's down to 4.6 within Toulouse, starting to pull Daz in now for Ferrari. And Matt Psycho there, he's in 3rd provisionally until we find out the actual results from the hosts. Is there only one Mercedes? Is it? No, there's only one Red Bull, I thought. Let's have a look through. So there's Daz in the Merc. Racer Brown's in the other one. Racer Brown is in it. Racer Brown 7th in the other Mercedes. It's the Red Bull we're missing off Geordie. So I assume Geordie is out there, but we do not know what position. 9th there for Kale. Kale's dropped down a few positions, with Jam also dropping down into 10th, is it? Jim in 11th for Williams, Noxie 12th in the Alpine, and Flashman 13th also in the Williams. He's on the hard tyres though. Don't forget, we've got different strategies happening at the same time. Daz 4.6 seconds, half a tank of fuel. Intulu in a second place. Matt Psycho there in third, only 8/10 behind the Ferrari driver. Whoa, this is crazy. Look at the speeds they carry through these corners. Absolutely scary. Luis Silva says, come on Intulu. And Pat says, correction, cancel that. I think he said with the one Mercedes. It's definitely a Red Bull we're missing. I believe it's Geordie, and I believe he probably... Oh! Intula's gone off. Intula has gone off. Can he get back on again? Oh no, oh no. He's facing the wrong way. He's spinning around. And now he's going again. Beautiful spin, Intulu. That was an 8 out of 10 in my book. You've got a lovely little spin on there. You've got facing the same way again, and you've got going. Fantastic. I know you've lost a position, but he's on the hard tyres, remember. And Matt Psycho is on the mediums, as is Daz. So Intulu doing an absolutely amazing job in that Ferrari on those hard tyres. So Talleyrand 4th, also on the hard tyres, only 3 seconds now behind Intulu, pushing like mad. This is crazy. There's the other Ferrari in 5th, Alexis Maximus in 6th, I.R. Graham now up into 7th with Racer Brown in 8th, Kale in 9th in that McLaren with Jam in 10th, 11th for Jim in the Williams, Noxie in 12th. He's nearly a minute behind Jim, and Flashman 8 seconds behind Noxie. So everything to race for these guys. There's a long way to go. As I like to say, we're on the second lap of 12, so there's a long way to go. So Daz doing an absolutely astounding job up in front, 4.2 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho getting purples, but they all get purples on this second lap. Intulu there, third on track as we see it. But like I said, we think there's another racer out there that's not showing up, and there goes Stevie Styler ahead of Talleyrand. The old battle between the Ferrari and the McLaren carrying on into the sim world. Beautiful stuff, seeing those two cars against each other again. I love it, I really do. I can't get enough. I'm going to be so sad when this championship's finished. I'm going to have a big empty hole in my life where Formula X used to fill it of a Sunday evening. Alexis Maximus has gone into the pits with those medium tyres. They barely worn, half a tank of fuel. It seems an early stop, but he knows what he's doing. Daz then leading the way by 3 seconds. Matt Psycho slowly itching him back in. He got a 5:21.5 his last time around. Daz doing a 5:27.3. Intulu managing a 5:33.4. Stevie Styler, the next Ferrari on track, a 5:30.037 with Talleyrand. Whoa, Talleyrand having a look closely at that barrier, and he's got I.R. Graham coming up behind him very fast. And there they go, side by side, and I.R. Graham just sweeps past the McLaren as it's getting back up to speed. Racer Brown next on track behind Talleyrand, 1.3 seconds in the Mercedes, the super sub. That is Racer Brown. And we've got to say a huge thank you. He jumps in at the drop of a hat to help out. Kale in 8th place. He is some 7/10 ahead of Jam. Jam on the comeback. That's not a very good position. Let me see if I can find... There we go. That's the one I like. Whoosh. I love his helmet. I love it when the carpet matches the drapes. Oh, it looked like Kale having to really slow down there through that corner. He's had a bit of an off, and that gives Jam the opportunity to move up into 8th place ahead of the McLaren. This is some crazy stuff out there. Daz now only 6/10 ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho is absolutely beasting it out there. He is owning the green hell. He's got a great helmet. That's a new helmet for Matt Psycho, I believe. I haven't noticed that one before, with the MS on the side of it. So, nice design, Matt Psycho. Very good. And as he is now really reeling in Daz. He's getting used to the track, but Daz... Oh God, why did I do that? Daz and there's nothing in it between the two front leaders. Intulu in third ahead of his teammate Stevie Styler, whilst the Merc and the Aston Martin battle it out for supremacy of the green hell. We can see the two Ferraris third and fourth. Well, we can't see them, but Matt Psycho outbraking himself. Matt Psycho outbraking himself. He's done some damage to the car. Intulu's some 10 seconds behind though, and he's 11 seconds ahead of his teammate Stevie Styler, who is 6 seconds ahead of IR Graham, who is only less than a second ahead of Talleyrand. Racer Brown 1.3 seconds behind these guys, with Jam the Shunt some 6.3 seconds behind Racer Brown. It's dangerous, isn't it? It's a dangerous game to play. There is Kale in ninth, 1.7 seconds behind Jam, and Lexus and Maximus some 34 seconds after his pit stop, so not bad. Getting the pit stop done. Oh, he's dropped it. He's dropped it on those hard tyres. He's only 9 seconds now ahead of Jim in the Williams. Jim on his way. And Noxie in 12, some 30 seconds ahead of Flashman. I imagine Flashman, it being his debut, will be just wanting to get to the end of the race with not too much drama. Daz still leading the way, 2.1 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho has to do it all again. He caught up with Daz. I think the toe caught him out, and he went flying into the barrier. Intulu then 8.7 seconds behind that battle. Whoa, Intulu also. It's a tricky racetrack out there, it really is. And look, just a small brush with the barrier causes a little bit of damage on that front wing. Stevie Styler, he's only 12 seconds behind his teammate in the chat, Junior Donoto Boa Pitodas. Sorry, Boa de Pitodas, I don't know. I'm not even sure what language that is, Donato, but I'm quite happy to say it. You're probably making me swear in foreign. I'm going to get banned. Daz 6/10 now, whilst Jam. Matt Psycho is in the tow, chasing him down. Oh yeah, I like that one, and we'll do that again. I know we've already seen his helmet, but I like to get those whooshes up. And here he comes, Matt Psycho, looking to make a move, but we've run out of straight. And now we're coming into the last section of the racetrack to complete lap 3, and they both jumped into the pits. Interesting, those medium tyres then, they must have, oh, they're all right, but they are under less than a quarter of a tank of fuel. I think we're going to see them all coming in. I don't know if there's enough fuel on that car to carry on. There is Intulu into the pits. There we see 4th place. Ooh, Stevie Styler's not doing too bad with fuel. He may continue for another lap, and he does. So there we see the Ferrari coming around to take the lead of this race. But he's closely followed by the Alpine. There he goes, you can see. As Matt Psycho rejoins the track, he's only put a splash and dash in that car. He's going to have to make another stop. Kyle Graham then up into 3rd. Daz coming back out with a full tank side by side with the McLaren of Talleyrand. Oh, a little banging, but that's all right. We're all good to go. And like I said, we think Geordie is out there also. We do not know what position he's in, so we will have to inform you in Discord, or I will tell you next week, obviously, for the final round. That will be Suzuka. That will be cracking as well. So Stevie Styler still leading the way on those hard tyres. Matt Psycho now put on the hard tyres, but he's got a little bit more grip. He's looking for a way past Stevie Styler, but there is not much room out there. It's a very skinny track, very, very skinny track for these big wide boy cars to try and find a place to get past. And this is beautiful. I'm really enjoying this race so far. Lap 4 of 12. Not quite halfway yet. And really, Matt Psycho did really lowball fuel that. I don't think he wants to be on the hard tyres for too long. Probably going to do a couple of laps, then get back in and get on those mediums and finish the race on those. Wow, the closing speed under braking is absolutely scary. It's a crazy stuff. And Stevie Styler doing an absolutely gallant job so far. So we'll have a quick rundown. Stevie Styler leading from Matt Psycho, but Stevie Styler's still got a pit stop to do. Matt Psycho now having some pressure from I.R. Graham, who also has not pitted. Oh my lord, Stevie Styler's made a mistake. Stevie Styler has made a mistake, and now we're all bunched up. Matt Psycho moving forward into the lead with I.R. Graham in second. Stevie Styler's dropped down into third, Talleyrand fourth. Daz is in fifth place with Intulu in sixth on those medium tyres. He's made a pit stop and he's some 9 seconds behind Daz, but he's topped right up with fuel. Racer Brown in seventh. He's also been into the pits, put some medium tyres on, topped right up with fuel. There is Kale in eighth place. He has also been into the pits. Jam also been into the pits. Looks like he's carrying a little bit of damage. He's some 30 seconds ahead of the Red Bull driver of Alexis and Maximus. 11th there for Jim. Noxie in 12th. Ooh, he's really burning out those back tyres, but he has not pitted. He's fuel saving. Great there. We're 20 minutes into this race, and there is Flashman in 13th, like I said. We think there is another Red Bull driver out there, but he's not showing up on our screens, so we can only commentate on what we see. And I will tell you any amendments either next week, or you can check them out in Discord or our website, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk. So Matt Psycho absolutely beasting it out there. I.R. Graham has yet to pit. He has saved fuel absolutely beautifully. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the halfway point. He's doing the hard tyre run early doors. Matt Psycho has just put the hard tyres on after being on the mediums. In third there is Stevie Styler. His fuel is flashing now. He'll be looking for a pit stop pretty soon at the end of this lap. There is Talleyrand. He's been fuel saving also. Great stuff from Talleyrand. Unbelievable racing going out there. Daz in fifth. He's pitted, topped up with fuel. And he's 7.4 seconds ahead of the Ferrari of Intulu, and 6.5 seconds behind Talleyrand. He's had enough and the back end has come round. Poor Daz. Oh my lord, it just caught him out in that corner, and soon we'll see Intulu coming through. And there he goes, Intulu back up into fifth place with Daz continuing in sixth. He's nearly 27 seconds ahead of his teammates. And that will drop pretty quick while he gets back up to speed, and he's got no downforce at the front of his car whilst he's trying to shake off that damage. So Racer Brown 7th, Kale in 8th, Jam in 9th, Alexis Maximus in 10th place, 20 seconds behind Jam. Jim in 11th, only 5.7 seconds behind. Another one that has not pitted yet. Noxie also not pitting. He's doing some amazing fuel saving out there is Noxie. And Flashman has been into the pits. He's filled up. He's put the medium tyres on. So Matt Psycho 1.1 seconds ahead of I.R. Graham. These are your championship leaders, but I.R. Graham is going to have to come into the pits at the end of this lap. Well, virtually in the next couple of corners we're going to see I.R. Graham. Oh, and there is Matt Psycho. Yes, he only put in enough for that lap. He wanted to just do his hard run and get the medium tyres back on. There goes Stevie Styler also. So Talleyrand also going in the top four into the pits, and Intulu is going to continue on, I believe, to take the lead of this race for Ferrari. Can he get around? These guys are putting in more fuel. And here comes Intulu on his outlap. It's a long outlap, isn't it? And there he goes, Intulu taking the lead of the race. Daz could, oh no, Matt's back out. Matt is back out. Just over half a tank of fuel. Matt's strategy, it looks like he's going to pit on every lap. Maybe, possibly. He's back onto the medium tyres, just over half a tank of fuel. I.R. Graham has put 3/4 of a tank of fuel onto the medium tyres also. Daz there in fourth on those hard tyres, with Stevie Styler in fifth. Alan Sykes in the chat saying cracking stuff. It is, it really is fantastic racing out there. Stevie Styler just ahead of Talleyrand. They've come out the pits together. Talleyrand only half a second behind. Let's get on board with the McLaren driver. And that's a great helmet from Talleyrand with the Union Jack. He is only 3.2 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. So After 24 minutes of racing, they're still quite bunched up in places. There's a few in the pits, I think, at the back there. Oh, wow, why did I press that? Sorry. Yeah, Jim's in the pits. Noxie, he's doing fine with that fuel tank. He's going all the way. He's on lap 4, and there is a Flashman after his pits. Topped up and ready to go. Jim's still in the pits there. He's changed his tyres. He's just topping up with fuel. So, in Tulu, 5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. He's got a little bit more fuel than Matt Psycho, but I think they're both going to have to pit again before the end of this race. IR Graham there in 3rd place after his pit stop. 2.5 seconds behind Matt Psycho. Daz 3.7 seconds behind IR Graham, and he's a further 10 seconds ahead of the Ferrari driver of Stevie Styler, who is less than a second ahead of Talleyrand. Racer Brown some 3.5 seconds behind Talleyrand, and only 6 seconds ahead of the other McLaren of Kale. Jam 9th, 8.2 seconds behind Kale, and nearly 30 seconds ahead of the Red Bull of Alexis Maximus, who is 40 seconds ahead of the Williams driver, who's just come out of the pits. Jim Noxie in 12th. He's nearly 2 minutes behind those guys, but he is fuel saving quite heavily, and I think he's going to try and just one stop this, which is rather brave because he's got another lap after this. And Flashman out there on those medium tyres. So there is Intulu leading the way at the Green Hell. I said he was one of the ones that liked this track, and it shows. It really shows. Let's have a look at his helmet. Have I looked at it yet? There you go. And he's doing an absolutely amazing job for Ferrari. In the distance, 4 seconds behind, you can see Matt Psycho, similar fuel loads. Matt Psycho's tyres a little bit fresher than in Toulouse. He's pulled in half a second to in Toulouse. So very, very cool, very cool. IR Graham 3.4 seconds behind Matt Psycho. The pit stops really don't make any difference, do they? I mean, they do make difference, but I mean, from distance from each other, they all seem to close up. There is Daz, 6 seconds behind those guys, 13 seconds behind the leader. Stevie Styler, 9.5 seconds behind the Mercedes of Daz, and he's pulling away from Talleyrand now. No, Talleyrand's pulled it back, and I think Stevie Styler must have made a mistake, because that time just absolutely halved between the McLaren and the Ferrari. This is beautiful. I love seeing the Scarlet Ferrari and the Marlboro McLaren back at it again like the days of yore, with Racer Brown in the Mercedes there, 6 seconds behind that battle. He'll be hoping, oh, Talleyrand kicking up a little bit of dirt there and giving Stevie Styler another couple of corners breathing space. Whew, I don't know where to look. It's crazy racing. There's Kale in 7th now. Where did we? Oh, Racer Brown's lost a position. Racer Brown's lost a position to Kale. Kale up. Oh, he's back up again. Kale's up into 7th. Racer Brown trying to settle down now into this race. There is Jam in 9th place, 32 seconds ahead of Alexis Maximus, who's 51 seconds ahead of the Williams of Jim. Jim 2 minutes ahead of Noxie, and Noxie's 44 seconds ahead of Flashman. Woo-wee, let me take a breath. So in Tulu, Matt Psycho's closing in though. He's got him down to less than a second. Beautiful stuff in Tulu. I think he's fuel saving slightly because he's not burning through that fuel as quickly as the Aston Martin of Matt Psycho. And Matt Psycho's team principal Pat must be proud of as punch out there, watching his man, his star player, absolutely beasting the Green Hell with Intulu. Both Matt Psycho, I believe, and Intulu took part in the Focus Green Hell. It's in our YouTube if you ever want to go and watch it. It's a very fun race. There was only 5 people turned up, but still, it made for a great race. IR Graham there, the final podium sitter. We've got more pit stops to go though before the end of this race. Daz in 4th, 11.6 seconds behind IR Graham, 8 seconds ahead of the Ferrari driver of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler 1.7 seconds now ahead of the McLaren. There's a yellow flag. Oh, Daz has dropped it. Daz is off. He's trying to get back onto the track, and there goes Stevie Styler past, and there's Talleyrand in the McLaren. Daz down to 6th spot so far provisionally until we know where Geordie is on that track in Tulu then. In first place, 1.2 seconds. He's pulled a little bit out on Matt Psycho, but he is not burning through that fuel as fast as the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin, a very, very thirsty car, it would seem. And we have added on these cars, thank you Murray, hashtag, but and I haven't quite spotted one of them yet, but they are on there. They're in the GTSport share discovery if you ever want to have a look at some of these liveries. I'm trying to see where it might be, I'm not sure. Shall I try and go chase cam and see if we can see it? Can't see it. What about if we do that? So sat. Oh, you can see Matt Psycho. Oh, it's just as soon as he gets close to the back of the Ferrari, he loses all downforce. It's such a struggle for him. Intula doing an absolutely great job leading the way, and now he's pulling away by 2 seconds. Car number 30, the Ferrari, having an absolute blast out there. Brilliant stuff. Wow. So 2 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho 4 seconds ahead of IR Graham. They are your championship leaders. I think they're before drop scores, joint. And like I said, I don't know where Geordie is. He's in there somewhere, but we are not seeing him. Stevie Styler there, 4th place for us, is 21 seconds, 22 seconds behind his brother IR Graham. Talleyrand a further 5 seconds back. Daz we saw dropping the Merc. He's 3.2 seconds behind the McLaren of Talleyrand. He's in a McLaren sandwich because Kale's only 3.5 seconds behind him. There, Racer Brown in 8th, only 2 seconds behind Kale. Jam Shunt is in 9th place on those hard tyres, a quarter of a tank of fuel. We'll have a look down and start trying to work out who's pits. There we see Alexis Maximus has recently pitted. He's filled right up, he's put the medium tyres on. Will that get him all the way to the end? I don't think so. He might have to do a splash and dash before the end of the race, but 10th place around here is absolutely respectable, it must be said. Well, to tell you the truth, last place round here is respectable. Just taking part in this absolute crazy race is unbelievable. And Flashman there in 13th as we can see it. Pat saying Aston Martin 1 is on the wide green stripe. Oh, on the side of the car. Yes, it's a struggle to see the side of the car. I will try and have a look as it flies by. I know there is a way you can do with the controller, like skimming around, but if you have the keyboard turned on, we found out that you can't do that feature. But this is the battle, Matt Psycho, but we've seen before. Oh God, come on. We've seen before that as soon as he gets close to the back of the car and his fuel is flashing as they go through the mini carousel not onto the straight yet, just got to get round this tight corner, this right-hander, and then we're going to be on to that long straight where he'll be trying to get a toe off of the Ferrari. He's 3.8 seconds ahead of his closest championship rival, IR Graham. And here we go. Let's see what we're like in the toe. 201 miles per hour for the Aston Martin as it's pulling in Tulu. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths. It's like a bloody camping festival. All those tents all over the place. And I'm guessing we are going to see both of them jumping into the pits in Tulu. A little bit more fuel than Matt Psycho. The IR Graham's had a bit of an off. IR Graham, he's crawled into the pits. He had a bit of an off in the last corner there. Stevie Styler, he's got half a tank of fuel. He's near the end of the straight. I think there's a lap car ahead, is there? It looks like an arrow just in front of him, but there's no one on track. Hey, maybe that's it. Maybe I can see in Geordie as an arrow, but not as a race car. I thought there was an arrow just in front of Stevie Styler. There we go, Stevie Styler retaking the lead of this race. He's on the medium tyres, half a tank of fuel. His teammate in Tulu coming out of the pits first. There's Matt Psycho and IR Graham absolutely close together. You couldn't write this. You could not script this. Certainly not. These two fighting for the championship and now fighting on track. And look like a Williams. And they've gone past Stevie Styler on track as well. So I don't know what happened there with Stevie Styler. Everyone's in the pits. Daz, Kale, Racer Brown, 6th, 7th and 8th. Talleyrand in the 5th place. But at the moment we have the battle royale between Aston Martin and Alpine, as we have done all through the season. Beautiful stuff here. IR Graham trying to cling on to the back of that Aston Martin, even though they lose a lot of downforce. IR Graham putting in 3/4 of a tank of fuel as they come around that tight right corner, chasing each other down. In Tulu looking like he's managing to pull away from these guys as they get involved in a bit of racing. Beautiful. In Tulu then, he's 2 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. He's put over 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Car's looking a bit jaggedy. Let's hope no one gets DQ'd. Whilst mid-race, lap 7 of 12. Way over halfway, 35 minutes into the race. IR Graham there in 3rd, Stevie Styler 4th. We saw him slowing down. Not sure why. There is Talleyrand. He's 8 seconds behind Stevie Styler, having an absolutely great race there in the McLaren in 5th spot. Daz in the Mercedes in 6th. 7th for Kale. 3.2 seconds behind Daz, with Racer Brown Super Sub is 9.4 seconds behind Kale and 24 seconds ahead of Jam, who is nearly a minute and a half ahead of Alexis and Maximus on the medium tyres, just starting his lap 7. Jim in 11th for Williams. Noxie in 12th. Ooh, Noxie having an unfortunate fight with the barrier, but he's got 1.5 minutes before Flashman catches him up. We're guessing it was Flashman. We saw sideways on the track. It was a flash because we was in car and we just suddenly, oh, flash, yeah, Flashman. Flashman was a flash to us as we were sat in car. He's getting the blue flag. Someone else coming up behind him. And shall we guess who that is? Is it Stevie Styler? Do we think? Is it Talleyrand? Is it Daz? I'm not sure. Maybe, just maybe it's Geordie, who we can't see. It looks like it's going to be Daz. Oof, that's a good shot, isn't it? So Daz just lapping the Williams in 6th. Kale following Daz, 2.7 seconds behind. I have lost all track of fuel and tyres at this point in the race. It's impossible to keep up with. So in Tulu, right, he's leading. He's on the medium tyres. He's just pitted. He's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel. He's nearly just under a second ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho is exactly the same. Medium tyres, 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and he's catching up in Tulu. Hand over fist. He's just eating that space between them. Oh my lord, it looks so fast. It's so crazy. They're going to have to go to the opticians tomorrow morning to make sure their eyesight's all right, because they're just going to have a blur. IR Graham only 1.3 seconds behind us there. Unbelievable stuff. And here we see Matt Psycho getting closer and closer to the Ferrari. Who's going to win? Oh, the Ferrari kicking up a bit of dust. And there goes Matt Psycho to take the lead. And he's maintained it. My word. And now IR Graham's caught up the Ferrari. This is crazy. It's so fast. How do these guys do it? They've got reactions of a cat. Unbelievable. They're just coming around now to the end. No, not the end of lap 7. I don't even know where I am in the track. This is mental. 7 laps of the green hell, and the top 3 places are covered by less than a second, 7 tenths between first, second and third. Aston Martin, Ferrari and Alpine, they're all at different developments. They've been token spending all season long. Matt Psycho now, he's getting Intula back up, and he's grabbing a toe as well. They're all towing each other down the start straight. Unbelievable. Look at this. A tenth between first, second and third. They're trying to go 3 wide down the straight, and oh my lord, some banging there. One for the stewards to have a look at, and Matt Psycho then taking the lead from Intulu, and I.R. Graham in 3rd spot. This is absolutely mental. These guys, they need something checking. They need to see a brain doctor, because this is madness, absolute madness, I tell thee. Matt Psycho leading from Intulu with I.R. Graham. I want to look around. There's Stevie Styler in 4th ahead of Talleyrand. Talleyrand some 7 seconds behind Stevie Styler, with Daz there in 6th, Kale 7th, Racer Brown in 8th, Jam in 9th, 10th for Alexis Maximus, 11th for Jim, 12th for Noxie. Flashman is in 13th. Oh, he's had a big off. Who's had a big off with him? Oh, it must have been Jam. It must have been Jam. Where is Jam on the track? Jam in 9th. Yes, it looked like Jam. Followed the Williams off the track. In sympathy, maybe. But he's got himself a nice 39 seconds before Alexis Maximus catches him up. So, Matt Psycho leading by 1.5 seconds. I.R. Graham only just getting past Intulu. Intulu closing in. Behind, try and get a draft or a tow or a slipstream, whichever you wish to call it. And behind I.R. Graham. Oh, what film you're watching with Tom Cruise in it? Oh, Jack Nicholson, a few good men. Classic. You can handle the truth. You want the truth. Racer Brown nipping into the pits. So Matt Psycho now 1.8 seconds ahead of I.R. Graham. The 2 championship leaders are 1st and 2nd on track, with the Ferrari driver Intulu in 3rd. The 4 for the next. Oh, them Ferraris, they are so consistent, and they get good points. In 4th, Talleyrand 5th in the McLaren, standing in for Skyjacker and doing an absolutely astounding job. 6th there for the Mercedes driver of Daz. 7th for Kale in the McLaren, having a great race there, the South African. We should be checking out fuel, sorry. Here's Matt Psycho, he's on half a tank of fuel, he's on medium tyres. We're on lap 8, we've got 4 laps left of this race. I.R. Graham, half a tank of fuel on the medium tyres. Intulu, half a tank of fuel on the medium tyres. Stevie Styler some 8 seconds behind these guys. And he is on, he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap. He's only 6.4 seconds ahead of Talleyrand. Talleyrand also just under a quarter of a tank of fuel, and his tyres are looking quite worn. He's just done the fastest lap he has managed with a 5:30. Matt Psycho's got the fastest lap with a 5:21. Daz there in 6th, half a tank of fuel with medium tyres. There is Kale, just over half a tank of fuel on the medium tyres, only 4.7 seconds behind Daz. Everything to race for in the last 4 laps. Racer Brown we saw just popping into the pits. He's filled it up, he's on the medium tyres, and he may be running till the end, I am not sure. Jam in 9th with Alexis Maximus in 10th. 11th for Jim, 12th, Noxie is proper slow during the carousel. I think it's because he's getting the blue flags. He's staying out the way of the Ferrari drivers as they come through. And Flashman there in 13th. So Matt Psycho only less than a second ahead of I.R. Graham. There's nothing in it between these two. Intulu there in 3rd place, 3.1 seconds behind these guys. Is he doing a bit of fuel saving? Is he going strategic? There is Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler really needs to get to that pit stop soon. He's on low fuel, and you do not want to run out of fuel around this track. There is Talleyrand. He's also going to be pitting at the end of this lap, 43 minutes into this race, lap 8 of 12. Daz in 6th. He's got half a tank, just under half a tank of fuel as he goes through the carousel. There is Kale, 6.4 seconds behind Daz in the McLaren. Absolutely nothing around here is 7 seconds. Racer Brown 40 seconds adrift of these guys, but he has pitted, and those guys in front of him will have to pit. Jam some 8 seconds now behind Racer Brown with 31-second lead on Alexis Maximus. Alexis Maximus having a great race, quarter of a tank of fuel. Jim in 11th for Williams with Noxie 12th. Almost 3 minutes ahead of Flashman. Cracking stuff. Flashman getting the blue flags. So a car coming up behind Flashman. So Matt Psycho, IR Graham, it's less than a second in it between these two. It's cracking stuff here as we come around to finish lap 8 and start lap 9. Flashman in the chat says this is hell, and David Bunting says everyone's flying. It's crazy racing out there, absolutely amazing stuff. And there's nothing in it between first and second, 6/10 as they cross the line to complete lap 8 and start lap 9. IR Graham takes the fastest lap of the race with a 5:15.605. This is some absolutely amazing lap times, it has to be said. Matt Psycho doing a 5:15.7. Nothing. It's just 10th them two were apart on that last lap. That's crazy, absolutely mental. Intula doing a 5:28. He's dropped back a little bit from those guys. 11.8 seconds. Talleyrand and Stevie Styler are both into the pits. Daz there. He's just over a quarter of a tank of fuel on those medium tyres in the chat. Mika Wivery saying they're all doing a much better job than I could have done. So hats off to everyone. I said that, yeah. Pat saying same here. No, I said even finishing last here is better than what I could have managed. I probably would have rage quitted, to be all fair, and I'm not a rage quitter usually, but this track probably would have sent me over the edge. Stevie Styler and Talleyrand both out of the pit. Stevie going the cross-country route. He's 6.6 seconds ahead of Talleyrand. They're both filled right up. I believe that'll probably be them now for the rest of the race. Daz looks like he might have to come back in. He's 18 seconds ahead of KL on half a tank of fuel, who's 22 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. Jam is 10 seconds behind Racer Brown in the Aston Martin, with Alexis Maximus nearly 50 seconds behind Jam. Jim in 11th, nearly 50 seconds behind Alexis Maximus, and Flashman, it's not even showing a time for poor old Flashman. He has pitted though, and he's going all the way to the end now. So Matt Psycho 1.7 seconds ahead of IR Graham. I don't know if IR Graham made a small mistake, or maybe he's just trying to fuel save a little bit, not sure, but there's now in between those two. Intula dropping back another second from those guys, and Stevie Styler 42 seconds behind his teammate. But he's just pitted, where I think the guys ahead of him are going to have to pit, so that will bring Stevie Styler more into play. He's only three seconds ahead of Talleyrand, who's only 2.5 seconds. Oh, I thought we saw someone facing the wrong way then, nearly. And there is Daz. He's only 2 seconds behind Talleyrand. He's catching Talleyrand up, hand over fist. He's down to 1.7 seconds. But Daz probably will have to pit before the end. Oh, Mika Wivery says we lost someone. We did, and it was Noxie in the Alpine. So Mika's going to have a word with her driver, DNF team principal, doing a debrief on the chat. So Racer Brown in 8th, Jam in 9th, Alexis Maximus in 10th, Jim in 11th. We've lost Noxie and Flashman moving up to 12th. Remember, Geordie is probably out there also. We don't know what position, and I will inform you that at the next round, or it will be in Discord, pretty much in the chat straight after the race. I guess I will ask the question if someone can post the race results for you guys to see. If you're in our Discord, you should be. It's the place to be. So only a second between Matt Psycho and IR Graham on lap 9. They're now 16.7 seconds ahead of Intulu, and they're all on about a similar fuel load. So Intulu, I think, trying to manage his tyres, manage his fuel. He's 43 seconds ahead of his teammate, who's got full tanks now. He's hoping those guys pit and come to him. I don't know how much you lose in a pit. To me, it looks like a roughly just under 30 seconds, possibly. Talleyrand there, fifth, only 3.5 seconds behind Stevie Styler, but Daz is really closing in on that McLaren in his Mercedes, but he will have to pit at the end of this lap. He's 19 seconds ahead of Kale. Kale just over a quarter of a tank of fuel, so we're assuming Kale will also have to pit. He's 25 seconds ahead of Racer Brown, who's on half a tank of fuel. He's 8.2 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam's on a quarter of a tank of fuel. He's nearly a minute ahead of Alexis Maximus. Jim in 11th place. And that Flashman is just trying to get that bad boy home. So IR Graham then, oh my lord, IR Graham's got past, sorry, let me see if I can see that. There they are, side by side, going down the long straight, and that is where IR Graham made the move on Matt Psycho, and they're both into the pits. Intulu, we assume, is also going to come into the pits, and Stevie Styler, I'm not sure if he's going to have to pit, and he probably will take the lead, and we've only got, what, 2 laps left after this lap? 3 laps left after this lap? Go on, there you go, there's my Murray tribute. So there we see Intulu making his way into the pit lane. 3/4 of a tank for Stevie Styler, but he's nearly a minute behind those guys. He's only less than 2 seconds ahead of Talleyrand, who's only 2 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. IR Graham's back out of the pits already with Matt Psycho, some 4.8 seconds. Matt Psycho's put in a lot more fuel than IR Graham, so interesting stuff. Intulu still sat stationary as his teammate gets to the end of the straight and comes into the complex. The final few corners, Intulu, he's still stationary, is he? Oh, no, he's back out. There he goes. Intulu's back out ahead of his teammate. 5 seconds in it. Talleyrand 1.7 seconds. Daz comes into the pits. He's got 20 seconds on Kale. Kale's on a quarter of a tank of fuel. We think he's going to have to pit as well. Racer Brown half a tank of fuel. We've seen the two leaders putting in around about 3/4 of a tank. Well, a little bit more for Matt Psycho. But IR Graham was out before Matt Psycho, wasn't he? So I don't know where the changeover came. But Matt Psycho back to leading the race with IR Graham in second. Intulu out in third. 23 seconds adrift of those guys. Stevie Styler only 6 seconds behind his teammate, but he's got Talleyrand closing in on him. 7/10 for Talleyrand. This is one intense race, my friends. This whole season has been absolutely fantastic. If you're new to Formula X, jumping in round 9, go back and look on our YouTube. I'm going to give our video a like. Go back and have a look at the whole season as a whole. It has been absolutely fantastic. It has been one of the best seasons in the VRC, or leagues in the VRC catalogue. And there we see Talleyrand now all up in the business of Stevie Styler. This is absolutely going to be tantalising for these last 3 laps. Well, 2 laps after this lap. Matt Psycho then 1.3 seconds ahead of IR Graham. I think IR Graham may have to do a bit of fuel saving. He's put a lot less fuel in than Matt Psycho. Intulu there, 24 seconds behind IR Graham, 6.4 seconds ahead of his teammates. He can't really, if team orders are involved, there's not much he can do because Talleyrand is right behind Stevie Styler. So if Intulu even tries to change positions with Stevie Styler for the championship, as Stevie Styler is third in the championship, Talleyrand makes that very difficult for him to do, and Stevie Styler looked like he had a small off, and here comes Talleyrand. Oh, that's a rubbish camera angle. Oh, they're side by side, little paint swapping. There isn't much room out there, and Talleyrand up into 4th place with Stevie Styler down into 5th. Daz there, 37 seconds behind these guys. He's pitted, he's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel for these last couple of laps. Racer Brown only 11.4 seconds behind his teammate, but he's only 3.3 seconds ahead of Cale, the other McLaren driver. So both McLaren drivers really pushing right now out there. Stevie Styler and Talleyrand are still going at it. This is absolutely crazy. Let's get on board with Stevie Styler. Oh, nice. I don't think I press the F12 that often, because I don't see Stevie Styler's helmet too often. And there we see he's trying to find space to get past that McLaren as we go through the carousel in the chat. Reginaldo Gasparato says Boa Noit. Where did Talleyrand go? I missed that. I'm reading the. I shouldn't read the chat, should I? Talleyrand's really disappeared. He's really. Hang on. You guys probably saw it, but I did not. Oh, just on the curb as he come out of the carousel. Poor Talleyrand facing the wrong way. And Daz was not that far behind, was he? Daz, well, yeah, Daz 37 seconds behind Talleyrand, so Talleyrand can get underway again in 5th place. While Stevie Styler 8.6 seconds behind his teammate, who is on a podium position for now. Matt Psycho 2.1 seconds ahead of IR Graham. Emeka Wibri saying Talleyrand went spinny. And there is Intulu in 3rd spot with Stevie Styler 4th, Talleyrand 5th. Daz is 6th with Racer Brown 10 seconds behind his teammate. Cale 3.6 seconds behind Racer Brown. Jam there is some 40 seconds behind Cale and a minute ahead of Alexis Maximus. So Jam, no pressure, he can just bring that baby back home. And Pat saying maybe it's the car. Ooh, gotta have a lich. So the two Aston Martins holding the championship manufacturer leader, and they are in 1st and 9th. Alpine in 2nd, but the teammate of IR Graham is a DNF. So IR Graham, the only one scoring points for Alpine this race. In Tulu there and the Ferrari, both of them doing absolutely great, getting great points here. I should have a quick look, and obviously again, like I said, I think Geordie is out there somewhere, but we cannot see him, so I will have to investigate that after the race. But Ferrari, the manufacturers, are in 3rd on 215 points, behind Alpine on 248 points. So this will help quite a lot. This race leading up into the final round of this championship. Matt Psycho 1.6 seconds ahead of IR Graham. These two are not going to stop racing all the way through. IR Graham's on half a tank of fuel and he's looking absolutely wild through that section of corners. Matt Psycho also on half a tank of fuel. Someone's getting the blue flags ahead. Racer Brown's gone into the pits. Intulu there in 3rd, 30 seconds drift for these guys, but 10 seconds ahead of his teammate Stevie Styler, who's 9 seconds ahead of Talleyrand, who is 27 seconds ahead of the Mercedes of Daz. Cale moving ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown still in the pits for Mercedes, only just getting his tyres changed, so Cale up into 7th. McLaren on good points this race. There is Jam in 9th place, some 50 seconds behind Racer Brown. We think Racer Brown should, there he goes, he's underway again ahead of the Aston Martin. Alexis Maximus in 10th with Jim in 11th and Flashman in 12th. Woo! Absolutely fantastic, this stuff. So 2 seconds ahead of IR Graham. We're on lap 11 this lap and one more lap to go. IR Graham has got that fastest lap. Lewis Silver saying a good race. He said God race, but we know what he means. Tulu, 12 seconds. He's pulling away from his teammates. He's got a little bit more fuel than Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler's still got that 9 seconds on Talleyrand. And Talleyrand, nice 28 seconds on Daz, who's got 26 seconds on the other McLaren driver. Fantastic. So this is pretty much the battle that's out there. And they are fighting tooth and nail with each other. Looks like Aya Graham though is having to fuel save a little bit, with Matt Psycho still got that half a tank of fuel. Did a 5:17.7 his last time around. Aya Graham doing a 5:24. So interesting stuff. Aya Graham does have 30 seconds to play with before Intulu catches him up. Intulu on half a tank of fuel. Ooh, we can see a Williams just off the track there. That's what the blue flags are for. Stevie Styler in 4th, 13 seconds behind his teammate, 8.7 seconds ahead of Talleyrand. He did a 5:27.8 his last time around. Talleyrand doing a 5:35, but I think we saw him have that spin. Daz and Kale, I think everyone, ooh, Kale and Racer Brown not far apart, 5.7 seconds. And Racer Brown pitted that last lap, half a tank of fuel, fresh racing medium tyres, whereas Kale, his tyres look quite fresh. Fresh, yeah? But I think this is the race, really. Oh dear, Aya Graham's really fallen back. 27 seconds. Looks like Aya Graham must have had a huge one. Let's have a look. He was getting purples, and there you go. There you go. He's lost a big chunk of time just with that small off. I think there was probably more to it than that. Looks okay though. There we go. So Matt Psycho, 30 seconds. Intulu, 12 seconds behind Aya Graham. He's got something to push for. With Stevie Styler 11 seconds behind his teammate, only 7 seconds from Talleyrand. One small mistake by either two Ferrari drivers and Talleyrand will be upon him, and we've seen how easy it is with Aya Graham. Having a small mistake and losing a whole big chunk of time from Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's coming around to start the final lap of this round 9 Formula X for the Virtual Racers Club. What a race! What a beautiful tribute we had before the race, and then we went into an absolutely barnstorming night race. So 29 seconds between the two championship leaders, with Intulu 14 seconds behind Aya Graham, 9 seconds ahead of his teammate Stevie Styler, who's 7 seconds ahead of the McLaren of Talleyrand, standing in for Skyjacker today and having an absolutely cracking race. Car number 20 coming in cold from the ninth round, and he's done beautiful in that Red Bull standard. Daz in 6th place there. He's done a great race for Daz, I've got to say. He's not put a foot wrong. There is a Kale in 7th for McLaren, and a Racer Brown in 8th. 5 seconds behind Kale now. Racer Brown really pushing. Oh, he's had a little pit stop. Whoo-wee. Jam Shunt is in 9th place, some 25 seconds behind Racer Brown, nearly 2 minutes ahead of the Red Bull of Alexis Maximus, struggling to keep that car on the road, but look at the tyres, absolutely mullered, and Jim is only 30 seconds behind. And I don't know if Alexis Maximus has got, half a tank of fuel should do it, but those tyres, I don't think those tyres will do it. So Jim could have an opportunity. He's down to 25 seconds. Flashman's come back into the pits there. He's on a quarter of a tank of fuel. There is Matt Psycho on the final lap. He got the fastest lap on lap 11 with a 5:14.467. What a crazy pace. And there we see Aya Graham. We're pretty sure Aya Graham is having to do a bit of fuel saving there. We know he had a bit of a spin. So Aya Graham in the Alpine in second spot, also on his final lap. There is Ntulu in third, a great podium position if he can keep hold of it, if he can keep the car on the track. Stevie Styler for the second Ferrari, also having an absolute cracker. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. They look like they're all similar fuel loads. Ian Graham a little bit less than the other guys. Talleyrand 6 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Daz there is in 6th, Cale 7th, Racer Brown 4.6 seconds behind Cale. He's really pushing, he wants to get that position from the McLaren. Jam there in 9th, Alexis Maximus, we see his tyres are absolutely gone. He's ripped them apart. I think he uses a controller, which that does not help with tyre wear at all. 11th there for Jim just scraping a barrier, but I don't think he's in a race today. He was 30 odd seconds behind Alexis Maximus, and Flashman also having a little off. Hoo-wee. So here we see Matt Psycho bringing this baby home for the win of the Green Hell, and probably to edge forward the lead of the championship before the drop scores. Like again, I say, next round I will read you the championship after drop scores, give you a better look of what the championship looks like. We use drop scores just in case people can't make a race, so it makes it fairer. We all live busy lives, and it's very difficult to commit to 10 weeks of racing. And we understand that people will miss a week or two here and there, so the drop scores are there for that very reason. So Matt Psycho ahead of IR Graham. IR Graham, oh, he's on vapours. He's on vapours. He's 18 seconds ahead of Ntulu, who's got plenty of fuel. Can IR Graham make that last to the end of the race? He's got to get through a few more corners before he's on that long straight. He's going to have to just feather that car down the straight. 18 seconds though ahead of Ntulu. He probably can do it. Ntulu's 14 seconds ahead of his teammate, and Talleyrand is only 2.8 seconds behind that Ferrari of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler also, oh, they're all low on fuel coming around this final lap, and we can see Matt Psycho's getting to the end of the start, not start straight, but the straight, the long straight here at Nürburgring. Coming around the final section of the track to take the win. Here he is in his Aston Martin. Brilliant stuff. There you go. Matt Psycho wins round 9 of the Formula X. Here comes IR Graham. He's on the end of the straight. There's barely any fuel in that car. He's 21 seconds ahead of Ntulu. So never in doubt was that second spot, even though I said it could be. And here he comes to take second place on the podium. Fantastic stuff, IR Graham. Here comes Ntulu. He's coming down the straight. He's 11 seconds ahead of his teammates as he comes into the final sector to take the final step of the podium for Ferrari. An absolutely fantastic race by Ntulu. Congratulations. Take a boo, my son. There is Stevie Styler. He's 2.8 seconds in the end ahead of Talleyrand, taking 4th. Talleyrand there coming home in 5th. Great race from Talleyrand, his first debut in Formula X. There is Daz in 6th. Remember, we do think there is another driver out there, Geordie, in the Red Bull, and we're not sure where he is. So we'll have to check Discord for the classifications, as I believe there is someone out there we cannot see. So Daz coming around the final sectors to take a fantastic 6th place there. Brilliant stuff, Daz. You should be very well, they should all be very pleased with themselves, but that brilliant. His teammate in 7th, he got Cale in the end. He did get Cale. Somewhere along the way we missed it. Racer Brown up into 7th, getting some more points for Mercedes. And he comes to cross the line to take 7th spot here at Green Hell for round 9 of the Formula X. Fantastic race of Brown. Kale going across the line in 8th. And Jam just coming along the straight. He's got plenty of time to get over the line. Skyjacker in the chat saying way to Talleyrand, I think, and go. He's added afterwards. And Lewis Silver saying congratulations to everyone. Hard track for the, and here comes Jam to cross the line for 9th. Congratulations to everyone. Hard track for the Red Bulls. 3rd place for my friend Lewis Silver said that. And here comes Alexis Maximus. He's quite a way off yet. The timer probably will run out before he gets to the line. Look at those tyres. Poor Alexis Maximus. Real tyre wear was the issue for Red Bull today. And like I said, we think Geordie's in there somewhere. Have no idea where he finished. We never saw him during the race. Oh, there you go. And the time's run out. So Alexis Maximus 10th, Jim 11th, Flashman 12th. And Noxie, it said, in 13th. Congratulations, Matt Psycho. Fantastic win. He got the fastest lap as well. He went up 9 positions in that race. I will take you to the race results, but like I said, we think someone else was in that. See, yeah, that spot there is probably Geordie. We don't know where he finished. So there you go. There are your race results, and like I said, I think Geordie's in there somewhere, but not quite sure where. I'm just looking on my iPad for any information that I need. Beautiful. So there you go, Matt Psycho for us on the stream, but it will be amended in Discord. Matt Psycho taking the win from IR Graham in 2nd, in Tulu 3rd on the podium. Take a boo, my sons. Stevie Styler for Ferrari in 4th, with Talleyrand 5th. Daz taking a fantastic 6th in the Mercedes ahead of his super sub, Racer Brown teammate 7th, Kale in 8th, Jam 9th, Alexis Maximus in 10th, Jim 11th, Flashman in 12th, and Noxie is 13th. Whoo-wee. And Alan Sykes said, and I was just about to read what else he put in, but it disappeared. So that was brilliant. So don't forget, the week ahead looks like Tuesday GTMC Lobby 1, Wednesday GTMC Lobby 2, Thursday the Pacific Rim Championship. That is at the Super Stage Route X or whatever it's called, which I said it was last week, but I was incorrect. It was at Laguna Seca. But yes, we will be at SSX or whatever it's called. I can never remember the name of the track. Special Stage Route X, I think it is, for the Pacific Rim, that is. Friday night is, well, the Max 5s are all done. So I think Friday night's an empty evening. And I'm trying to think. So yeah, and then Sunday we've got the final round of the Formula X. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did. It was fantastic. Quite emotional at the beginning, but we ended up having ourselves an absolutely fantastic race. I'll let you know next week where Geordie ended up in amongst all of that, as we didn't see him racing. Alan Sykes is having a mare with these messages. He keeps typing something and then deleting them, unless it's something to do with my YouTube, which it could be. Anyway, come on Alan, you got to be quick because I'm just closing up. I think he's given up. So, and Matt Psycho got the fastest lap on lap 11 with a 5-minute 14.467. So I was your broadcaster and commentator. Oh dear. There's some really bad ones. I'm trying to find something that's not too bad. Oh, that's bad. Norma Scocks, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on Tuesday. I'm just waiting for that last message. I know Alan can do it. I know you can do it, Alan Sykes. Come on. Oh no, Pat saying, what a race that was. It was. It was fantastic. So I was broadcaster and commentator Norma Scocks. And I will catch you on Tuesday, hopefully, if you come back and watch. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, because that's what YouTubers do. And I will catch you the next time around. Thank you very much, guys. Bye. Be good to each other. Look after each other. Just be nice. Just be human. It's not hard. Come on. That one last comment. There you go, Alan Sykes. Awesome is what he was trying to get out. Awesome. Lovely. And we'll leave it on that. Thank you, guys, and cheerio.